Hey everybody, welcome to a little video practice. This video practice is going to help us with CASA's questions about discounts and sales. So we're going to run into lots of questions that ask us to buy something for half off, for 50% discount. When you see that 50%, you see 1/2, you see divided by 2, you hear half price. All of those are ways that we say we're going to take the price and split it in half evenly. Most of these prices I think we could actually probably figure out in our heads if we're decent with money. But I showed you guys the partition method and I want you to be able to use it for larger numbers and odd numbers. So we're going to start with some of these examples that hopefully aren't too far out of what we already know how to do. Then we're going to use that to help us find half of odd numbers and especially larger odd numbers. Let's jump right in. The shirt costs $12 regularly. We already know probably that the half price is going to be $6. How could I have used partitioning to find that? Partitioning, remember, means breaking something up into parts. And we do it so that it makes our jobs easier. In this case, I'm going to split 12. Let's say I don't quite know what half is. I'm like, is it 5? Is it 10? I'm not sure. Let me work with smaller numbers. My first split, I still have 12, but now I have it in 10 plus 2. Maybe because I'm more comfortable with these numbers. I know what half of 10 is, let's just say, because I have 10 fingers, and I know that if I just close one hand, what I have left will be half of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to designate this little area under this dotted line as where I'm kind of putting my half. So I split my 10 into half and half, and I know that each half is going to be 5. Now I'm going to take this 2, another number that's pretty familiar, split it in half. Well, if I split it evenly in 2 groups, each group gets 1. I've taken my 12 and I treated it like 10 and 2. Still 12. Then I took each part and I broke it in half. Half of 10 was 5. Half of 2 was 1. Anything under this dotted line inside this box is all the parts that are will come together to make half of 12. In this case, we have 5 and we have 1. Well, that's just 6. 6 is half of 12. And we found it by breaking up 12 into parts that were a little bit easier for us to find half of. Okay, let me write this answer in. All right, we're getting now into a slightly more challenging example. The pants cost $14.50 at regular price. That's $14.50. I'm going to write it here. I don't know if we know off the top of our heads what half of that would be. A lot of you might partition in your heads faster than probably you can even think, and just know that half is going to be 7.25, $7.25, because your brain is already pretty good at partitioning dollars and cents. You find half of the dollars, you find half of the cents. If you don't think of it that way, or you want to see it drawn out, well, here we go. $14.50. Definitely I'm going to partition first just the cents on one side and just the dollars on the other. So $14.50 is the same as $14 plus 50 cents, which I wrote as a decimal. Let's say I'm not ready to find half of 14 off the top of my head. No problem. I can keep partitioning until it's easier for me. Maybe I'm going to partition into 12 and 2 because we just solved half of 12, remember? And so I'm going to use that to help me save me some work. 12 plus 2 is the same as 14. 14 plus 50 cents is the same as $14.50. Still the original price. I want to find half, and I'm going to do it with these smaller numbers. So, remember, I'm just going to draw this zone so that I know where I'm putting my halves. If I split 12 in half, I now know that each half is 6. If I split 2 in half, each half is 1. So far, just looking at the dollars, I have 6 plus 1, which is 7. Now, these 50 cents, it's up to you how you do them. If thinking about money is easy for you, you could say that you know 50 cents is made out of 2 quarters, right? Each one is 25 cents. So, if you split these in half, each side would be 25 cents. That's one way to do it. Now I add everything that's down here where I put half of each group. Now I get 7.25. $7.25. If, however, splitting those quarters is not what comes naturally to you, there's another way we can do it. And that's to think of 50 cents as really 50 pennies, 50 cents. And now what we'll do is think, okay, let me split this into 2 decimals. I'm going to go with 40 cents and 10 cents. I know that 40 cents plus 10 cents is 50 cents. And these are numbers that it's easier for me to find half of. And the whole point of partitioning, remember, is to make the numbers work for you. Find parts of the bigger numbers that are easier for you to work with. Half of 40 cents, kind of like half of $40, is going to be related to 20. In this case, 0.20. 20 cents is half of 40 cents. Half of 10 cents is, just like half of 10, 5 cents. And I write it with paying attention to my decimal points. Half of 10 cents is not $5, it's 5 cents. Now, under this dotted line, I have all the halves. If I add them together, my dollars added together gives me 7. My cents added together, 20 cents plus 5 cents. Oh. Miss Camila messed that up. That means 50 cents. That means 5 cents. 1 nickel. Sorry. 20 plus 5 cents. 0.25. If I add those two together, I will get, once again, $7.25. This way is meant for you if thinking about quarters doesn't come easy. If thinking about quarters comes easy, you don't have to go through this. This is just lots of different options to help you solve the question in the way that works best for you. I'm going to record the answer, and then I'm going to clear the board. All right, we're down to the last example, $24. Even though this 24 has a 0.00 after it, know that that's the same exact thing as having said $24 like this. It just means there's 0 cents. So, here we have $24.00. Most of us probably know that half of that, is $12. If I want to be consistent, there you go. So it matches. How could we use partitioning to find this answer in the event that we didn't know it? Well, we split this into numbers that work for us. I'm going to go with 10, 10, and 4. $10 plus $10 is $20. 4 more makes 24. Now my 24 is split in a way that makes this math a little bit easier for me. I'm going to find half of each of these numbers, and I'm going to make my little zone here where I put half of each. So if I get half of this 10, I get 5. If I get half of this 10, I get 5. If I get half of this 4, I get 2. 5 plus 5 plus 2 is what I have here as the half. 5 plus 5 is 10, and 2 more is 12. This matches what we got up top. So, yay, we're correct. Perfect. Now the last thing I'm going to show you in this video is an easy and important way to check your work when you found 50% discounts, when you found half, etc. I claimed, we figured out that half of 12 was 6. How can I make sure? Well, if I take 2 halves and add them together, it should get me back to the whole. 6 plus 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yay! It's 12. If 6 plus 6 is 12, and that's the regular price, then I've done my math correctly. Let's do the next one. 7.25, 7.25. If I add these together, I should get $14.50. Let's see. 5 and 5 is 10. Carry that one. 2 and 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. Drop my decimal point, make sure that it stays lined up. 7 plus 7 is 14. $14.50. That is exactly the regular price. So I found half correctly. Well, we did. Let's check the last one. 12 plus 12. If these are both halves, then when we add them together, we should get back to the original price. 2 plus 2 is 4. 1 plus 1 is 2. We have gotten back to 24. We've checked our work. All 3 examples are correct.